So welcome to my YouTube channel. That's what we call the good life. It's October and autumn and almost winter is definitely in the air. I'm going to take you for a walk around my plot to show you what's happening and just some things to keep an eye on. Now if you've not already subscribed to my channel, if you could please do so, because you'll get lots of helpful hints and tips all throughout the year from my allotment, my home garden, and from time to time my home kitchen. Now it's a little bit windy here. We have something called Storm Amy, which you might have if you're in the UK or have had by the time this video comes out, but you might not have heard it in another country. So if you can't hear me very well, that would be why. But hopefully the wind will be kind to me as I'm walking around, because I've got some jobs to do. So we're at the top of the plot here. Now if you watched one of my last videos over the last month or so, I did say the time to pick rhubarb is short-lived, and as you can see it's all starting to flop down now. Mine, I couldn't pick that anymore because it's all started to collapse, which is perfectly normal because it will go dormant over the winter, and the storms have started to go a little bit soft, so you wouldn't want to eat a rhubarb like that. So I will just leave that be. I do have a video on how to look after your rhubarb over the winter, so I'll pop it up on the screen and I will pop it in the description if you want to watch that another time. Now I've picked off my Bramley apples. If you've not got your apples and your pears off, you will want to be getting them off in October, especially if you've got wind like we've got today. As you can see, some have dropped on the floor, so one of my jobs today will be getting some of the last few pears off, although I think I've got most of the larger ones off already. As we move down, I mean, it's a beautifully sunny day, but boy is it windy. I've definitely got some tidying up and a little bit of weeding to be done, and I've got some apples on that tree if I want to get them off as well. But I might see if someone, I've got plenty of apples stored already, so I might see if someone else wants to help themselves and to have those for themselves as well. So things are starting to die off in and around my squash and pumpkin patches that I've got. So I've already picked some of my squashes and pumpkins, but I'm going to get the rest of them off today, because by the end, apart from the fact that obviously some of them I'm going to decorate and have them for Halloween, we will start to get a frost, so I always get my squashes, my squashes and my pumpkins picked by the end of October. So keep an eye out for the frost, because where you are, you might have to get them off a little bit sooner. I've got some lovely different types of varieties here. I've got some potato squashes, I've got some crown prints, I've got some butternuts there, I've got some others as we walk around the plot and I'll show you those. Courgettes are really starting to come to an end, but I never pull them up. All the time I'm still getting courgettes, and I still have a really lovely one here which I'm going to pick. So I'm quite surprised actually, because they look really sorry for themselves, but they still seem to keep producing. So all the time they keep producing, I keep picking them. It's a really good rule of thumb there. It's really easy to think they're finished because they don't look very good, but they often have a very new shoot coming out the top, which actually looks quite nice and green. It won't carry on for much longer, because as soon as we get some heavy frosts it will stop, but I shall enjoy them for as long as I can. My aubergines have been particularly successful this year. I really can't complain. I've been eating plenty myself and sharing them with friends and family, but again, once the frost hits they won't come along, and you won't be getting any more of those, so I'm going to be getting as much of these off as I can. People ask when you pick them. I mean, ideally you let them get a little bit bigger, more like that size or a little bit bigger, but it's fine to pick them small. They all still taste the same. It's not like a squash, it's a bit like a courgette in the fact that you're not waiting for it to ripen. So if you need one and you want to take one off a little bit early when it's a bit smaller, that is perfectly okay. And this time of year you are obviously being a little bit mindful with the weather, because if it gets very frosty, it could have a detrimental effect on them. So I've got a few more and I will get the rest of them off later. As we move round, I've got still got some lovely peppers. Again, a real success story. These are the flamingo peppers that I grew, and I've had loads and loads off already, and I've still got some small ones on there, and these are very similar. Once the frost comes they really won't be up to much, so I'm going to pretty much pick them off as I need them, and then obviously when it gets really cold I will take the lot off. Peppers do actually freeze very well, so you can obviously chop them up and dice them and put them in a freezer bag and get a handful out at a time as and when you need them. And I actually recently googled that you can freeze aubergines raw, which I didn't know before, so that's really useful. They do go a little bit mushy, but if you're going to put them in a stew or a casserole or a curry, which I often do, what's the harm? If you're not going to get to them in time and you've pestered your friends with them so much that they're sick of them too, because I've been sharing them around, then it's worth giving them a go to freeze. The only time I've generally frozen them myself is when I've made a dish and I make too much and then I freeze it when I do something like a curry or a casserole. But I'm probably going to have a go at freezing a small amount without cooking them and just see what they're like, and if it works, I'll carry on doing it. I've got some leeks there, which I'm going to dig a row of those. They're perfectly okay to stay in the ground, and I dig them probably usually a row at a time until you get to about February or March, because they can bolt then, and possibly you want to start planting other things then, but they can stay in the ground and they're perfectly hardy, as is my broccoli. And anyone who follows me knows that most people quite often pull their broccoli up after they've had the first head, and I'm sorry for the people that have been watching me for years. They think, oh, here she goes. You know that you don't need to. I mean, this was only 2 weeks ago, and I had a really good pick off of it. And this is 2 weeks later, virtually to the day. And obviously I've had my main head of Calabrese off these, and someone said to me, what variety was it? Honestly, I don't know, and it wasn't an expensive variety, so any Calabrese variety will do this in my experience. I don't source special seeds. I literally, occasionally I'll source a special seed for something in particular, but most of the time I just pick up seeds as and when I see them. Sometimes they're a good price, sometimes, you know, they've been put on special offer. I don't have some special supply of seeds. I just get them where everyone else gets them. I don't think that I have access to anything anyone else does. But as you can see, just quickly flipping over it, the main key thing with the broccoli is to keep picking it, because if you leave it, it will start to flower. When it starts to flower, it's then less likely to start to produce more. That being said, if you have the odd one flower, just break it off and then just see if it keeps producing. But provided it hasn't gone to seed too much, and lots of them haven't gone to seed, you'll probably be okay. So let's move down the plot. I'm going to go and come back to this, and I've probably got a little bit more to pick, but as you can see, just from a quick go over, there's actually quite a lot of broccoli in there. So that's definitely going to do at least 2 or 3 meals for the family. So that's pretty awesome, I think. So I've got some absolutely fantastic pumpkins over here. So I've been growing these for my niece and my nephew to have. So 1 each, and then I've got a spare one. And then I've got some other little squashes there as well. And if I'm honest, if I can find the tag, I'll tell you what they are. I'm going to be picking these today anyway, because they were all originally tagged on here. I can't find the tag now. But they're small dark green ones, variety. So we've got the Cape gooseberries over here. So as you can see, the wind has caused havoc with them. But I do believe that we do have some in here that have been. My father-in-law's been coming up here, and I have been telling him to help himself because, you know, I have too many. And that's a bit of a rummage. I mean, these are the little lanterns, but you're looking for them to have gone yellow because these are too green. So let's have a little rummage around. See, oh, there we go. There we are. So you're looking for them to have gone brown, and once they've gone brown, just slide them out, and there you are. That's a Cape gooseberry. They do have another name which I can never quite pronounce, but they are really nice. So, unfortunately, once frost comes, we won't be getting any more. So we enjoy them while we can. But they are a real treat, I tell you. Got my Statice here. So that's one of my favourite flowers for putting in vases. A really easy thing to grow. I always just buy a packet of seed. I sow them around February, the earlier the better. These were a little bit late going in, and they're absolutely fantastic for cut flowers. So another one I quite like is dahlias, which I've not got this year. I missed the boat getting those in, but that is something that's worth getting. Dahlias, absolutely beautiful. Plenty of chard here. I've got a few carrots left, so the chard, the carrots and the beetroot. The chard is very hardy, and the carrots are. The beetroot, if it gets really cold and really frosty, sometimes it gets ruined. So it is worth trying to use the beetroot up a little bit quicker if you can. You can pickle it, make curries with it, make brownies with it. It's really some quite fun things you can do with it. But your carrots and your chard are really very hardy. I have started putting a little bit of ground cover down, just because it helps with the weeds. If you've not got any ground cover and you want to get some, I can put a link up on the screen and one in the description. I put it down at the end of the season, I lift it up in the spring when I'm ready to plant, and it just helps me keep control of the plot really. Without it, I really do struggle sometimes to keep everything under control. Now I do hope you've enjoyed the tour of my plot. if you want to know what things you can sow this month, and we are doing a what to sow video, so please see the link on the screen and also in the description.